captured that spirit of an era, of a place, just beautifully. Thank you for sharing that. I have a couple of little pieces for you, and then I have to dash, unfortunately. This first piece is, uh, is one that, touches a political note, I must admit. It's called Making Greenland Grape Again. Returning to it like a long lost cousin or even friend, we brought up vineyards from the Indus Valley. We've hired a bunch of homeless locals to stage our rally. We'll be planning a hearty vintage along the icy coast where the North Atlantic whispers off the ice encrusted shoreline, or so we'd like to boast. We've offered employment to the local population, although we're not entirely certain of the contingencies and requirements of the total operation. We've announced $1 million investment on paper, to be sure, but with the vineyards and the brewery, we're pleased to suggest that the hardy local reindeer population will probably endure. The frozen tundra nearby will no doubt prove entirely fertile, or the fallow, untested, albeit rock strewn ground, or so we've been assured by our ag manager, a charming girl named Myrtle. The proliferation of several varieties of lichen add a picturesque splash of color to the varieties of gray landscape that we fully expect to double. We anticipate next December our groundbreaking effort. We've rounded up some homeless migrants who will launch the project. This bunch has impressed us all as clever. We'll be performing laser-guided drilling with brand new AI foremen, but the locals are undergoing formal cyber farm training, at least the few that's yet to be determined. The literate among them will make up the clerical staff because there's insurance forms to process and punch cards to load, so I'm not yet prepared to laugh. We'll be handing out hundreds to hungry passers-by. This can be easily explained. Pretty soon, my friend, we plan to tell you. By and by. We've been giving large bills to children and the wandering homeless. Yeah, that's true. They often find us enticing, and the work is quite exciting. Besides, many will be of voting age, or so we do construe. We imagine bountiful vineyards, and the beachside we've been nourishing. We expect it will be flourishing. New hotels, a thriving tourist trade, and as they relax, they can enjoy a festive reindeer parade. And then this, on a slightly more sober note. This is called improper ideology. I don't know if that you heard that was a complaint of our current junta. It's called improper ideology. Improper ideology requires no apology. Say it once for me. Revising history for the moneyed class has the intrinsic value of, well, digestive gas. And why, as they would have it, if certain realities never come to pass, is to define an ideology which in retrospect seems like a dusty antique theology. Sure, if you were to mistakenly say that women always had the vote, scratch that guy, he might be troubled. Please, someone take note. And the single woman could always float alone or order a phone or buy a home. Hey, wait a second. Why was she alone? Has she left her man borrowing his charger card when he's out of hand? Why, that's so revisionist. I heard an important man say, no, 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 not this. No women were executives. What were you thinking? None were ever pilots up in the clouds. That's just thinking. Slavery was just full employment. It's a government plan. Even the smallest toddler could enjoy it. As long as, well, albeit he could stand. And when they sold your ma and pa waiting, debating, you might find yourself left waiting lonely in some saloon or bar till some generous man picked up your tab. They're such a musical people with such a gift of gab. Science was always and only advanced by men. You heard it right. Let's say it together once again. Such men would never take advantage of their female lab partner. These men would never claim unearned scientific achievement. They'd sooner suffer their own embarrassing and deeply shamed bereavement. And schools for blacks were never poorly funded, and anyone saying that's clearly politically blundered. To even suggest that polluted places seem somehow accidentally to be located near the darker races, it's only simply to malign the ruling class, and frankly, by now, if you don't know it, you can kiss my pass card. En garde, this too shall pass. And those burden, those protected watersheds are never need these claims exceeded by the troubling aboriginals. It's never been true. We lock their children up in steeples to even think so. We've been imperfectness simply creeple. Let me cheer you with a soulful glance. Look right here in my hypnotic electronic eye, wouldn't you? Improper ideology, never, no, never, regardless of how clever or misleading, requires an apology. Honoring great men and women of science who, coincidentally, rich in darker skin, seems a far vaster sin. I guess we should never cause a mortal member of the consuming class the least distress. For the ruling class, men such as these are nearly consumed by greed, seem somehow only to elevate those with pale pink, albeit pigeon toes. Well, that's just how it goes. Thank you, my friends. Bravo. Thank you, poets, for speaking the truth. We are honored.